Hi guys, welcome back. I'm Beth. And I have been putting this off way too long. I wanted to do a comparison of the different kind of paper treatments you could give your coloring books. Generally, I use the Daniel Smith transparent watercolor ground, but I have other things that I've tried. And I would like to show you the differences in them and how they react to your media. So I have here, this is a page, you may recognize it. It's Amazon paper, and I have gridded it off so that you could see how the different medias work. I did have pencil up here, but I moved it down here. So I have a blank section so you can see just how it works with the blank paper. The watercolor ground, which is this Daniel Smith stuff that I use. The gesso, which is what I have here. The aqua ground rough, that's the schminky that I have here. And grit paste, which is not actually a ground, but I wanted to include it because in my head I just kind of group it with this bunch of guys. So I have Amazon paper, and I have a decent watercolor paper. Okay, it's pretty thick, it's like hard. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do, I may have to pause this because I've only got one brush and I've got several things to fill in. So first I'm going to put in the Daniel Smith's transparent watercolor ground, which I have in this section here. Now the tool that you use to put this on is going to influence how it looks. You can do it as smooth or as rough as you want. And let's do the other page. There it is here. Okay, now I've got to wash off my brush after each use, so I'll be right back. Okay, next up, I'm going to do the latex acrylic clear gesso. I always want to say gesso. Spelling. And I need to put it into a little cup. Might need to take some more out, but we'll see. Yeah. Move it on me. Okay. Next one is going to be the aqua ground. Let me wash this off. Okay, so we're going to do the aqua ground. This is rough, which I didn't notice when I was buying it. Take a look at that puppy. That is texture, my friend. Okay. And I think I forgot to put the gesso on. No, it's on there. I can see it. And I'm trying to keep it all in one spot, but you know what? It's going to go over a little bit. Okay, there's that. And I am absolutely going to clean my brush because this stuff turns to rock. And the last thing I'm going to try is a little grit paste. Now, like I said, this is not a ground. You don't use a lot of this. This is mainly for stuff like eyes or rocks. And I'm just going to put a little dab. Oh, forgot the other page. Almost forgot the other page. Okay, I'm going to let these dry, and I will be right back. All right, got a little bowing here. Not too much, just the really heavy aqua grund. And here as well. You may not be able to see it, but yeah. Okay, so what shall we do first? Well, the highest one I have on this stack of stuff is the chalks. Mungo pastel chalks. And that's this one here. So I can do this two ways. I'm going to try The only thing I have handy here is my old sponge, so I'm going to try and use it. We will use a darkish color. We have blank, there's nothing on this one. We have the watercolor ground, the gesso, the aqua ground, and the paste. That's nothing on the page. We have a watercolor ground, and you can see the strokes from the sponge brush. Here we have the gesso, a little bit rougher, not a whole lot. Then we have the aqua ground round, lots and lots of texture, as well as the paste. And there's nothing here. All right, so let's try that. Same chalk on the watercolor. Sorry, I got a little bit on there. I'll be more careful on the next one. We have chalks. We have blank, watercolor ground, gesso, aqua ground, and the paste. So let's see what happens. So with nothing, the ground, and again you can see the pattern of the brush. I'm using a light to medium pressure. And again, nothing. All right. There's my chalk. We got it everywhere. Bring it up here so you can see it better. I'm using my husband's camera for the first time. He got a brand new camera and he wanted me to give it a try. It's a phone camera, and that is the Amazon paper. Okay, now there's such a pile of stuff here. Okay, let's try next. Oof. This is my Inktense. Let's just try a darkish color. And this is madder brown. I'm going to go ahead and use my my board here. I guess I could just put it right on the page, but we'll see. Green stuff everywhere. Now let's separate these papers. Inktense, blank, watercolor ground, gesso, ground rough, and paste. Okay, that's interesting, isn't it? Then we will do the watercolor paper. Same thing, only it's written in reverse. We have blank, watercolor ground, gesso, ground rough, and grit. Might need a little bit more paint. Definitely just a little bit more. Okay. Okay, there's my inktense. Ah, for crying out loud. And I'm not sure if I showed you, but there we go. That's what that looks like. Next up, markers. And let me grab some markers because that I don't have here. And I had a whole bunch of stuff all over. Okay, let's just pick one at random. It is BG1 Ohuhu alcohol markers. We have blank, ground, gesso, la 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 la. Okay. This first one actually went through. The inktense, I had a lot of water on that. It kind of went through. All right, now watercolor paper. Nothing. Well, there's a little bit of shadowing there, a tiny bit. Okay, that is the markers. Neocolor. Again, there's probably going to be a little bit of water on this. I'm going to add a little more paint to my palette. And as you can see, I added a whole lot of water to that. But it's not going through. here's my blank page, my blank section. That should be right there. And you can see where it is bleeding through. And it is bleeding through on this one, the grit paste, but that's because it's not full. The rough, yeah, a little. But these there are not doing much of anything. I have to see. All right, when we're done, we'll come back and look at each and every one of them. All right. What am I left? Watercolor paints. Okay. That is going to take me a second because I've got to dig them out. I did not do that, and I should have. I got lucky and found an old palette. And watercolor paint never dies. So let's, which one's going to give me something here? All right. Come back to it. Look at the back. Same paint. Okay. Now, the only thing I have left, I think, are pencils. Yep, pencils. That's easy. It's right here. My desk. Oh my God, it's a mess. All right, this is a Prismacolor Crimson Red. And we'll start with blank. Ground. Gesso. Rough. And grit paste. Oh, that hurts. Oh, that hurts. It chews up your pencils. And the reason your gesso is so dark is because it took more pigment off the pencil. It is a miniature sandpaper. And my pencil is down here. Blank. Might as well find my flat edge. I am using the same pressure, guys. Not doing it harder. Okay. Now, you've got both of them. Let's take a look at the other side, okay? What I'll do is I'll take this page and put it on one side, and I'll take the other side of the page and on the other side of the screen, and you can see what is what. Now, these are still wet, okay, especially this watercolor paint. Blank, that's how much it went through. And where the paste actually was, it didn't go through at all, and that's just extra. On the other one, it was the markers. Yeah. And the blank one went through, and the grit paste. The other ones did really well. The other one, Neocolor 2, again, a lot of water. The blank just a little bit, nothing at all, and then again where the actual grit was, it didn't go through. But look at not just the fact whether it went through or not. Look at the textures you're getting as well. With the blank page, you know, you've got buckling, of course. You've got the different variations that you would with watercolor paint. But check out the rough texture. That is really nice. That, for me, I would like that. Same thing with the neocolor 2s, that texture. But what these do, what the watercolor ground does and the gesso does, is it keeps it from going through the paper. And this is cheap Amazon paper, and it did not go through. Now, on the other hand, let's take a look at our watercolor paper. To be expected, it didn't go through. But it wouldn't, even on the blank page, on the blank section, didn't go through at all. But what you do get is some really, really nice texture. And when you're doing stuff like this, you want texture. You want free, effortless texture. And this stuff is going to give it to you. Overall, you know, really not that bad of a crinkle. But then it's not fully dry yet either. Alright, so what we'll do is we will let it dry fully. And then come back and take a look and see what we got. Okay, everything is dry. First of all, let's look at the texture you get. Remember, it's blank, watercolor ground, gesso, rough, and paste. Pencils, chalks, inktense, markers, neocolor, and watercolors. And a little different on this paper, blank, watercolor ground, gesso, rough, and grit paste. Pencil, watercolor paint, neocolors, markers, and inktense, and chalks. Now, let's take a look at the back. And not too surprising, nothing came through. I got a little bump here and a little bit here. That is from the grit paste, so it doesn't count. And this one was, it's hard to tell. What was that? Grit paste again. So I will show both sides. This side, we'll push it over to the side, and this side, and we'll push it to this side. Next up, our cheapy paper. I really, really love the textures you get from this stuff. Pretty much any one of these will give you a nice texture. See if you can see it. And the back. Okay, the back we have a little more issues. You can see the inktense went through on the blank paper. And the last two, which are the grit paste and the rough, but both the gesso and the watercolor ground blocked it, so you were able to paint and it didn't go through. Markers went through everything except the ground, the gesso, and the rough. Totally blocked it. Watercolor. That's the blank one, right? Yeah. Blank one went through a little bit. And the grit. That's just the extra open one. And the watercolor paint, which is generally for watercolor and neos, are what I use it for. The blank went through, and the grit. But these three are blocking everything on cheap Amazon paper. The acrylic gesso, the transparent watercolor ground, we'll cover that in a minute, and the aqua ground rough. These are all great. They will protect your page. Yeah, you get a little crinkle, but you know what? You get crinkle anyway. Yeah, that's it. Now, I use transparent watercolor ground on my pages, but it comes in different colors. I have it in the pearlescence, and this stuff is strong. Oh, dusty too. And I have it in buff titanium, and I have it in black. These come in different colors for different backgrounds, for different effects. The one I don't have is gold, but that's next. So, that is it, guys. If you're like me, you like texture. And it's really nice having texture without working at it. Putting one of these grounds on here is going to give me texture. The gesso does give you a darker hue, but that's because it's chewing up your pencil and leaving a lot more of the pigment. And you'll notice here on the inktense, you can see the sponge brush texture that I left. It always does that. So, that's it. I hope this helped you. I do use these, by the way, all the time. If you've been watching my videos, you'll see me doing it. I use watercolor ground. There's nothing wrong with gesso. It's just a little rougher, that's all. And the aqua ground rough is really rough. You want a stone effect? This is going to give it to you. So, hope it helped. Thank you very much for watching. Sorry if this is all messed up. I didn't do very well with it, but hopefully in editing I'll be able to fix it. So, thanks for watching, guys. Bye. See you in the next video.